Okay, guys, let's start. So, welcome to the second session. Yesterday, we saw there was session one related to data types. This is session two for Java basics. In this session, we are mostly trying to focus on very basic stuff, that is classes and objects in Java. And apart from these basic stuff, we'll also try to look what constructor is, how do you have variables in class is in your classes, and what are the different types of variable which you can have in your class, and how do you deal when you have different classes and different methods within different class, and how do you access those methods. So anyways, let's start. So in terms of Java, I mean, everyone is might have gone through the basics of Java, so they know that Java is an object-oriented programming language, and everything which we have in Java deals with classes and objects. So when it comes to Java, it has class and it has objects. And even in real time, if you compare Java to real time example, this real time world, everything which we have in this world is an object, right? You, me, pen, pencil, everything has it, whatever we see is an object. Now, the reason why we have a class is, I mean, everything is object, but we have divided, or we can say group this particular object into a class. So class is nothing but you can say a template, or you can also say a blueprint that describes the behavior, or you can say the states of that particular object which it holds, right? So we are grouping the objects into one class, and now collectively that class defines the behavior and states of the object which is holding. And let me share my screen. We'll, apart from, okay, there are people waiting. Okay, so can everyone see my screen? Yeah,
Yes,
so
Ajay.
yeah, so yeah, okay. So yesterday we saw data type session. Today we'll start with class. Okay, so let's create one new class. Anyway, I mean, I think everybody knows how to create a new class. You can just right click, say new, and you can have a, I think, join here. 1 second. Okay, so you can click on new and you can say class. Okay, so let's name this class. So what do you think? What can be the name of this particular class? So you can name a class, like you have to just follow the standard convention. So if I say, let's say I want to name a class as, let's assume that we are dealing with animal class. Okay, people are still joining in actually. Okay,
Yes,
so
Ajay,
now,
join just.
yeah, so people are still joining. So anyway, so we have just started with the basics of what exactly class is, and how everything is in Java is dealt in terms of classes and objects. So we have just created a class, and the class name is public class animal. Now this is a public class. The class is used as a keyword to create a class. This is the name of the class. Again, you have to follow the standard naming convention. The name of the class always starts with a capital letter and followed by any word which comes into sequence to start with capital. Okay, so now what does exactly class contain? So as we saw, class can contain many things, but two of the major things which a class contains are its variables and methods. So we can say data, and then we can say methods, right? A class is a blueprint, it has to hold something, right? So the class is holding data and methods. So for example, now data, what kind of data it can store? Let's say for animal, what are the behavior of that particular animal, what are the states of the animal? So in terms of data, you can say color. Okay, so you can have string color. Now the each and every animal has some color, right? So you can define age. Okay, so you can define color, you can define age, you can define herbivorous or carnivorous, maybe depending on food habits. Okay, So these could be data which you can have for any particular class. For example, if you create a class as human, right? So each and everybody human being, they have their own color, they have different behavior, right? So in terms of behavior, what behavior can human have? All those behaviors will be categorized as methods. So in Java, methods are also called as subroutines. I mean, that's not a usual word we use, but yeah, just to get you an idea, we also call methods as subroutines. So what a method can an animal have, right? What method can an animal have? Anyone? So animal can jump, right? It can walk, it can eat, it can sleep, right? So these are all the methods which an animal can have. So the basic thing is class can have data as well as subroutines, also called as methods. Now for each you can create a method. So how do you create a method? You can say public. Okay, you have this keyword shortcut also, public method, or you can create a public static method. So let's go for, there are people joining. Okay, so we can say public void and you can enter the name. So eat. Now say this is a method which is to eat. Now this defines a characteristic, or you can say a behavior of that particular class. So each and every member of this particular class can have this method called as eat. Along with this, we can also have a method called as jumping, run, walk. There are many other methods which you can have in your class. Also, you can have different types of variables. Now we saw these are all variables, right? Okay, fine. Everyone knows that these are all variables. So apart from that, what other things are there? Like how do you define different types of variable? I'm not talking about data types which we saw yesterday, right? Some are of strings, some are integer, then some are character. No, I'm not dealing about that. I'm dealing about something different. So let's do one thing. Let's try to create one more class over here. So we can have multiple classes in same file. Okay. Are you getting my point? We can have multiple classes in same file. The only thing is which we do not usually practice this because the standard says that you should have one class for in one file, and it's easier to also, you know, even going to the file name, you can get an idea like what exactly this class is. But if you have multiple classes in the same file, going forward it would be difficult in terms of your management. But yeah, since we are only practicing, so we'll look for multiple classes in the same file so that it's in one screen itself. So now say I have already created one class. So okay, so let's say here I will say there is a name of this particular frog. Just imagine the name, and I can say age. Okay, so we have a name and we have an age. Let's remove this stuff. We can have now two class. Main method shortcut everyone knows right now how to write main method. Okay, so now what I will do is, now we have seen these classes. Now how do you create an object and what exactly an object is? So I hope classes is clear, right? We can have multiple classes in the same file. Class is a blueprint. It contains data as well as methods. Methods are also called as subroutines. Now, how do we create an object of particular class? And why do we create an object of that particular class? First of all, everyone, see, if you go in the, if you start working, everyone will directly say, okay, fine, create an object of this particular class and start using. But why exactly do you need to create an object? So in order to use or in order to access the data and the subroutines method which we have in a class, we have to create object of that particular class. So using object of that particular class, we can create, using object, we can access the data, we can access the methods which are present in that particular class. Now, how do we create an object? So you can say, let's see if you are frog. Okay, let me see, someone is joining. Okay, so let's say you have frog, right? Frog is a class. Now you have to create an object of this particular class. So I'll say frog. Okay, is this object created? No, this, we are just declaring the object. We are trying to say that frog is a class, and we are trying to have an object as frog, or Okay, for similar, for easier convention, we'll say frog object. Okay, we are trying to create an object. The object gets created when you use the new keyword. Okay, when you use the new keyword, only then the object gets created. Now the object of frog is created, and you can use this object to access the data of class frog. So for example, if I write frog object and dot, what can you see? You can see age and name, right? So what are we, okay, and if we don't use this object, and if we try to write name, you won't get anything, right? See, there is no name. So if we want to access the variable, or you can say the data from a different class into your this class, you have to go through an object. So I'll say frog object dot name. Now I can say frog object name is equals to test. Okay, so this is the name. Now we are trying to see how we are trying to specify the values of a variable which is present in a different class. Are you getting my point? This particular variable is not present in this class. This is present in some different class, but still with the help of object, we are trying to access this variable and we are trying to set a value. You can also say frog object dot age equals to 20. Okay, now if I print, anything will print? No, right? That's it. The execution has started from here. We have assigned something, but there is no print statement. Okay, so what you can do is you can have methods over here. You can have methods, or you can, okay, let's try first this. Let's say I want to print. Can I directly print name? No, right? Again. So what I can say is I can use frog object dot name. Okay. The similar pattern, I'll say frog object dot age. Now let's see what does it print. Okay, it's printing test and 20. So guys, can you see we do not have this particular variable in our class. We are dealing something with this class, and still we are accessing this variable, and we are setting the values as well, and the same is getting printed. So this is a way wherein we can access variables of a class using object. Now, along with this, you can have methods as well, right? As I said, a class can have data and subroutine. So let's create a method. How do you create a method? Public, let's say void. I'll say print name. Let's just assume print name is a method. Okay, and what does this method do? It prints the name. Now, from if I want to access name here, it is in the same class, right? So I won't use object. I do not have to create the object because I am into the same class. Okay. Now, if I run this particular program again, we'll go slowly. Let's see. There's only two things which is printed, that is the name and the age. But this particular print is coming from these two statements, not from this, because there is no invocation point for this particular method. This method was not invoked from any of the areas which are under execution. So how do you invoke that particular thing? You can say, now to access the method, right? Again, we'll have to use frog object dot print name. Okay. Now, when you run this, see, it's 20 test, 20 test. So basically it is printing this, and then it's going to print name over here, and then it is trying to print the name. Okay. So this was a way wherein we create a class, we create an object, and we access that particular object. Okay. Now we can create, we have created one object, right? We can create one more object. Let's say I don't want this line, and let's say I'll create one more object. Okay. So the class name is, how do you create an object? Frog, and I can say frog object 1 is equals to new frog. Okay. Now when I try to set the values again, object 1 dot name equals to test 2. Okay. So guys, now just try to get the difference. This is an object frog object, and this is frog object 1. So each object will have its own copy of the variable, right? So this name, the value of this name belongs to the object, right? So when you print frog object dot name, okay, from here, what will it print? It will say frog object, okay, and the name is test. Now, if I print it over here, let's say I'll use frog object one dot name. Now let's see what is printing. Test2. You got my point? So based on the objects, what values your objects are setting, it will get printed. Now, usually when you start working in industry format, there will hardly be any chances wherein you are using couple of objects of the same class. Nobody does that. But this is to learn that we can create multiple objects of the same class and we can specify properties. Now, what is the problem which we can see in this particular class? Or I would say, what is the problem which the way we are accessing the variables of a different class, this is not a industry specified format and this is not a good way, right? We are directly setting the property and this is allowing you to set a property, right? So you should not directly set a data for a particular class or a particular variable of that particular class, I would say. So now how you should handle this is you should ask the class like what exactly name you want to have that for that particular variable. Tell me the name, I'll do the needful for you, right? You don't directly write. So what we are doing is we are directly writing the name of a variable which belongs to a different class. So let's not do this, right? So now comes the concept of getters and setters. What we can do, we can have get method and we can have set method for each of the variable, for all of the variables, or maybe for some of the variables. If you know that we have a variable and this the property, the set value of this particular variable will be defined from a different class, then you can have a set method. Or if you know that you have to set the value of that particular variable in this class itself, and people are only going to access it, right? You don't want to give someone else to write it. People are only going to access it. So you can have only a get method. So here what I will do is I'll say public void and I'll say set name method. Okay, I'll say set name method. So this is one way of doing. Now in the next phase, what I'll do is I'll say frog object dot. Now if you see, I have this object set name. Now when you want to set name, that means you have to pass something, right? One second, let me just check if there are people. Okay, sorry, there are people. Okay. So what we did is we created a method set name. But if you want to set name of this particular variable, you need to accept a parameter, right? You need to accept a parameter. So I'll say string input. Okay. So I'll say string input. Now see, guys, this is also a part of learning. When a particular method, now I have modified this particular method, right? And I'm calling this particular method from a different class using an object. And earlier there was no parameter. Now I have changed the parameter. So it's saying that, hey, you have changed the method and this does not match to the argument set. So can you please add an argument? So you can add an argument. Or you can, we are assigning the name test over here, right? Frog object dot name is equals to test. But now we don't want to assign the name. I would say this is test name by parameter. Okay. So this particular name will be to get into input, will be stored into input. And now in this main class, what we can do is we can say name is equals to input. Okay. And then I would say this name. Let's try to run this. Test name by parameter. So guys, there is a, see, this statement and this statement is almost doing the same thing, right? It is printing the name of that particular variable. But the way we have handled or the way we have defined the value for this particular variable is different. Earlier, what we were doing is we were accessing the variable of a different class and we were directly giving the name. Now what we are doing is we are passing the name as a parameter. So basically, using this method, what will happen is if you want to give a constraint, right? Let's say if someone let's say if I want to write here, let's say let's say some bad name, right? You don't want your object to have a bad name. So let's assume someone writes bad. This the control is over here, right? You cannot control like what name is given. Now someone, let's say he's trying to give a bad name. So what you can do is you can take that particular name. Guys, can someone go on mute? So now you can do is you can verify that particular name. You can put your constraint on that particular name. Only then you can assign that particular name to the variable. Are you getting? So this gives you a control. Now, apart from 1 second, people are there. Okay. So we saw a couple of methods like how do you define data for a variable. One was directly using the variable, and the other one was using a setter property. Now, if you want to have a get property, right? So in a similar way, you can say public void get name. Okay, and this will just return name. Okay. Okay. So here, if you are returning name, so the return type should be string. Okay. Now, so we have gone through classes, we have gone through objects. So there is one more keyword which is very much used in Java. This is this keyword. Now, how do you use this keyword? So here we are passing the name as a parameter, and we have captured that particular name into our string input, right? So basically, if there are lot many methods, if you have, and it is quite confusing, right? You want to set the name value of name, and one variable name is name, and the other variable name is input, right? So it's like quite confusing. So what usually people do, and what usually people follow is they keep the name of the variable same. Okay, like this. So now there is some confusion over here. So what we are doing is we have defined a variable as name, and now this particular method is calling set name, and this is passed as name. So this will get stored into this name. So now we have two variables with the same name, right? So now see what Java is saying. See, the assignment to the variable name has no effect. Okay. So now this is the local name. To access the class variable, you have to use this dot name. Now, can you see the difference? This is a class variable. This particular name here is a class variable, and this name is the method variable. This is specific to this particular method. Now see the difference. Even the name color convention, you can see this name is matching to this name, right? And this name is matching to this name, and we are printing name. So instead of using, if you want to avoid this, right? If you want to avoid this dot, this entire thing, you can have a different parameter over here. But usually people don't do this because again, you will have n number of variables, and to remember each and every variable would be a difficult task. So it's better to, have similar names wherein okay, this dot name is equal to name. Now, if you run this, it will print the same, right? So we have seen the use of this keyword. Now, how do we use this for a class variable? Now, one more thing which we have observed is variables and the different types of variables. So there are basically local variables, then there are instance variable, and then there are class variables. Okay. So the variables which are defined inside your methods or your constructors, you can say those are called as local variables. Instance variable are, as I said, these are the all instance variable, right? So any variable which is within a class but outside any method, like how we instantiated this particular method, right? Within a class but outside your method. Okay, these are called as instance variable. Okay, now this is local and this is instance. So for using the instance variable, you have to use this dot name. This is like your class. Okay, so class dot name. Okay, and this name belongs to your local variable. So I think we have seen classes, objects, use of this keyword. One last thing which I would like to show is constructor. We'll quickly have a 5-minute session for constructor. So basically what a constructor is, 1 second. Okay, yeah, so there were people joining. So constructor, what is exactly a constructor is? So whenever we discuss about class, obviously there has to be a constructor. One thing to be noticed is even if you don't write a constructor, but explicitly if you don't write a constructor, but still the Java compiler builds a default constructor for that particular class. Okay, you can even write your own constructor, but even if you don't write a constructor, people feel that I have not written a constructor. But yeah, there is a by default constructor for that particular class. So basically, whenever a new object is created, at least one constructor should get invoked. I mean, it will get invoked. Okay, if you write, that particular constructor will get invoked. If you don't write, the inbuilt constructor, which we have the default constructor, that will get invoked. Okay, what is the main rule of constructor? Now, if you want to create a constructor of this particular class, okay, I'll just write the frog. Okay, see, the name of that particular constructor should be the same as the class name. The rest remains the same, right? Public frog and this. Now, there is nothing here. What I will do is I'll quickly write this thing and I'll say I am in constructor. That's it. Let's just print. See, I am in constructor and I am in constructor. Why is it print twice? It got print twice, right? And why is it so? Because we created two objects of that particular class. If you see here, there is an object, frog object and frog object one. So guys, whenever you create a object, whenever you use a new keyword and you instantiate an object of that particular class, the constructor is called. Whenever you create an object of a particular class, the constructor is called. Now, what exactly do we have in constructor? There are many. So even in Selenium also, right? We saw there are multiple properties, file, and there are many initialization methods which we have to have when the object of that particular class is created, right? Those things are mentioned into constructor. So you want whenever someone creates an object of this particular class, these things should be done by default, right? So that is why we have a constructor method. We can have multiple constructor methods as well, right? This is also one point wherein you can have public frog, but this won't allow, because if you see, it's giving duplicate method. We already have a constructor, right? So how can you have multiple? You can have with a parameter. Okay, you can have multiple constructor with a parameter. So now if you want to call this particular constructor, you'll have to use a string parameter. And if you do not define any constructor without a parameter, by default, this particular constructor will get called. Okay. So I think, guys, we have seen the basics, which the plan for today was getting classes. How do you create an object? And how do you access variables and methods? So we saw, right? We created a class. We can have multiple class in same file. What are the data which we can have in class? We can have data as well as we can have subroutines, also called as methods. Now for each and every variable or some of the variables, you can have getters and setters, wherein you can set the particular property and you can get property of that particular variable. So, and how do we access that particular methods and variables from a different class? So we saw how do you create an object and how do you access variables and methods using objects. Apart from that, we also saw the use of this keyword. So whenever there is a name conflict and you want to access class variable and local variable together, then you can use this keyword. This refers to the class variable. Okay. And then we saw constructor. By default, also we have an inbuilt constructor, even if you don't write. But yeah, if you explicitly write a constructor, every time whenever there is a new keyword used to create an object of that particular class, this particular constructor will get called. Okay. Any questions for this? We'll spend like a couple of minutes for questions.